All right, guys, what's up? So, yesterday was the first day I wasn't able to go live in 2 months. So, we'll start this show. I have buddies who landed from London. They told me literally last minute they were flying from London to Sydney to watch a rugby game. Insane. So I got two big British blokes staying in my spare bedroom. So it's 6:45 a.m. right now. They're sleeping. They went out last night on the piss. They've been hammered for 2 straight days. If you ever have any friends who are Brits, some of the most loyal people in the world, but don't try drinking with them. So I didn't go out with them last night. The night before I went out with them, these boys are savages. But anyway, if you, hopefully they don't wake up. If you see two guys running in the background, mate, they're savages. All right, so here we go. Part of my voice. I was yelling the other night. Welcome to the show. I'm going to stay on as long as I can. We got the fights coming up here in Chicago. There's UFC fights as well. Like this video, subscribe. Guys, the Discord's been popping for about 2 weeks. Become a Discord member by signing up to Johnny Says Boxing Insiders. That link is pinned in this chat. It's a couple bucks a month. You get access to myself. You get more options on the channel, but more importantly, that Johnny Says VIP pass gets you to our Discord. You got access to professional gamblers, professional bettors. I put my parlays, my bets into continuous community, and it's growing. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who's already signed up, who's a Johnny Says Boxing Insider. Moving forward, I uploaded a video yesterday, my two-leg parlay for the main and co-main in Chicago. That's on our fight prediction playlist. So watch that. Sims versus Duarte and Regis versus Jojo. And everyone's checking in. We in the building. Hope how are all the boys? Guys, I missed you actually, dude. I love what I do. You know, everything from, my coaching business to my online business to the YouTube. They always talk about something I never talk about is I'm really into philosophy. So like existentialism, call it what you will. Joseph Campbell, Alan Watts, two of my favorite philosophers. And one of the quotes is, the only way to do good work is to love the work that you do. This is what I love. So yeah, I was kind of salty. I was like, damn, I'm not gonna be able to go live yesterday. But anyway, we're here. Yeah, I was getting the itch. I felt like I've been gone a while. So we got a lot to talk about. Poncho, yeah. And we got the trolls already popping. Poncho, I'm not gonna take the bait, baby. I'm not gonna take the bait. But that was a good era of middleweights. There were some good middleweights in that era. And we got some, the middleweight division. We'd like to see it more active today. I mean, I want to see some Janabek El news. I want to see Carlos Adames. In a perfect world, we would see unification fights. Lara, I mean, that not the deepest division at the moment. But guys, I talked to Muscle Brown. I talked to Muscles just now. I don't know if he puts his lock of the week. I should just start doing a feature section on my Discord. And it only pays $1.23. So this is kind of for you big gamblers. I'm not taking, I mean, $100 on this bet gets you your money back plus 23 bucks. The way some of the big boys look at it, 10,000 would get you 2,300. I think he's gonna parlay something with it, but Muscles loves the knockdown prop bets. And the under 2 knockdown prop bet in the Kenneth in the Sims Jr. fight is $1.24. So he's playing that. A couple other guys I know, some big gamblers, are playing that under 2 knockdown prop bet for Sims Jr. and Duarte. You could put action on it. You could add it to parlay if you want to. Just sharing some information. And I have on my money line, I have Kenneth Sims Jr. on the money line, and I have Regis on the money line. And I know some of us are kind of torn each way. Something that nobody's been mentioning, on the breakdowns. If you want to see my breakdown analysis of, why I'm taking Sims Jr. over Duarte, that's on the channel. Go to my Stats Don't Lie fight prediction playlist. But something no one's talked about, all the film study I've done. Duarte, you guys are, watch the weigh-ins. We put the links up in the Discord. All right, Goat, I'll check it out. I'll check it out. You're on quite a winning streak too, mate. Goat's been, some of the boys in the Discord, savages. Clifton, I need a win too, baby. Let's get it. So, Clifton, what I like to do, my own personal method, if I need a win, like not need, like I need money to win, but for my own confidence, my own sort of, I'm a momentum guy. I'll definitely find a bet where the risk is lower and just sprinkle something on that low risk bet just to get back into the groove of putting stuff together. You know what I'm saying? So I never, it's kind of like a front foot fighter pressing for the knockout. The same way with gambling, never press, never force the knockout, set the knockout up with the jab, set the knockout up with feints, traps, and then, hopefully you'll walk your guy on. Same thing with betting. Don't set a big win up by desperation. Koki, I gave belt to House of someone. Koki, my guy. Koki, man, look, mate. Koki, we need you in our Discord so you can put the sparring footage up, because we would be supporting you there. Koki says, last week I gave belt to ask someone in a 3-round amateur. I had good sparring today too. Good. You're consistent, has been paying off. Wait till the next 6 months. You know what I'm saying? So you put 6 months of work in now. Your mindset should be, today, Koki, is your day one. So where you were 6 months ago, mentally, imagine that's where you are right now. So you stay that switched on, and the next 6 months, and then the next 6 months. I actually write about that in my last book. I call it ISDM1. It's still day one, motherfucker. So that's an acronym I use. Landslide, good luck. Dwarte, I can see it. If I was siding with Dwarte, I would take the knockout too. PJ, we need one, baby. We're back. Random guy. I'm rolling with the Sims as well. Got him on the money line. Expose the fake, money in the bank. Expose the fake. I like it. So we got some boys siding with the Sims crowd. I'm taking Sims. You give me Sims at $2.54, mate. Like, come on. My best bets come from desperate. There you go. Okay, Slime. Get it, brother. When I'm having fun, I don't sit. All right. See, we all have our different systems, and I appreciate your honesty, Slime Shoddy. I'll look at the Discord for sure. Yeah, Koki, if you wanna look at the Discord, the link is pinned here in the comments. Just click the link. It's the Johnny Says Boxing Insider. It's a couple bucks a month, and then you get access to the Discord. Sim stoppage. Chris B, the Sim stoppage is going to be great value, but for me, you're already getting the book. I got him at $2.54. So 100 on Sims, the value is insane already. So I'm just leaning that way. Jojo by UD. That T-Rich, those odds will be good. So T-Rich is expecting Jojo to just last longer, outwork Regis, and win more rounds. Sims by stoppage. Once again, Chris, the Sims by stoppage, it just depends on your methodology of betting. I don't know you personally. We've never had a sit down, a one-on-one, a chat about it. But like I said, because the odds are so, valuable for Sims just to win, it would be a shame for you to take Sims by stoppage and him win a decision, and you could have got great value. But if you're just sprinkling, let's say 10, 25 bucks on the stoppage, that it's going to obviously be even better value. Yeah, I don't see Regis losing either. Clifton in the house. Okay, we got any confident picks? I only know the co-main and the main. And that's... Okay. Clifton, I got to be honest with you. I think the co-main is a given. And I'm not... Clifton Dennis asks, and we should all ask this, and boys chime in. And Clifton, you're an insider, so I'm going to put this question in our Discord. We got any confident picks? I only know the co-main. Now, one of my locks is Regis on the money line. So I'm extremely confident. One of Muscle Brown's locks is the under 2 knockdown prop bet in Sims versus Duarte. So if you combine those two on the same prop, it's going to pay about $1.70. and then 100 on that gets you your money back plus 70 bucks. So that's one way of looking at it. Sims ain't stop. Yeah, I like Sims on decision. Sal blog talk. Post the pics here, Sal, and if you want, you should be joining the Discord. You're always on the chat. You get a lot more value as well if you're in that Discord. Chris B, Prograys, UD, Sims Vitas. What is that paying you, Chris? Goat says, I got a money parlay the draw on Duarte. Regis on points. And boys, I just posted in our Discord, is anyone playing the draw? You got to think about it, guys. The last 3 weeks on main events, we've gotten 3 draws. Obviously, we remember Gucci Flores, Jorge Chavez, Pacquiao Barrios, and then what happened in Japan with Antonio Vargas. So the draws are hot right now. And right now, the draw on the co-main is 21-1, and the draw on the main is 17-1. It might be worth a sprinkle. Imagine it, guys, put $10 on draws. You know, might as well. Joe's is better boxing than Regis. Koki says, I like the contrasting styles of Sims versus Duarte. I feel Duarte has to get started early to keep pressure on Sims if Sims gets in the rim. I agree. What I really like about the matchup with Sims versus Duarte is Sims' willingness to fight the entire time in the pocket. What we're going to see up until now in his career, 31 years old, his durability has never been questioned. His chin has never been questioned. It's been tested, never been dropped, never been stopped. And I feel that this style can frustrate Duarte, not the other way around. You mix that with Sims' sort of, I put his boxing skills, his intuition, like his reflexes, speed all above. I think he's the better boxer than Duarte. I think Sims Jr. is going to surprise a lot of people who aren't aware of how good of a boxer he is. That's what I'm leaning on. I just saw the Ahmed fight, and if he puts the same volume, he'll break. Chris, I didn't read your comment until right now. That's exactly what I think, too. I think people are going to be surprised about how good Kenneth Sims Jr. is. And we're getting plus money, boys. 245 on Sims Jr. is insane to me. I think it should be closer on the line to a 50-50. Dwayne Styles, salute Johnny W. SummerSlam night. Get after it, Dwayne, my man. Coming in, always representing. Did you train today, those Styles? Get your money in. Landslide says, my book's limiting the bets on Duarte by stoppage at 250. That's so wild, man. Earlier in the week during our live, you guys were talking to me about one of your books was limiting prop bets. I'd never heard of that. Landslide, are you playing that? Are you going to play Duarte by stoppage? Random Guy Perspective says people are completely overlooking Jojo. Now, Random Guy Perspective, because I'm picking Regis to win, I think you know that it's not because I'm overlooking Jojo. I did a breakdown on Jojo. Man, it's hard for me. I put the link up in our Discord. Jojo Diaz fought a month ago in TJ in an 8-rounder. Everything just looked off. His neurology, his movement, his timing, he just didn't look right to me. You mix that with the latest trend in his career. I think 6 out of his last 8 he's lost. And you mix that with Regis, being the bigger guy, at least, frame-wise against Jojo. The 2 decision losses he had to, Catterall and Devin. I don't know. I just see, I see this, even though both aren't in their primes, I see this version of Regis should be able to handle Jojo. DJ, I put 50s on drug. DJ, is that a everyday thing? Like on every big fight, or is that as of recently? Like, have you been known to always sprinkle something on the draw? Is that one of your systems? Because I just learned, I've had to learn to sprinkle on the draw over the last month due to taking some L's. Because in Australia, you boys know, they force us to do 3-way betting. So unlike in America on your books, on a long parlay, everything hits. If one fight draws on your books, that just gets voided. Here, we lose. So I haven't had to pay the piper on that until recently. Manny Flores fight. Dwayne Styles, we're not trying to convince anybody here. We're just, that's another point, boys. I need to clarify. You guys, the ones with the blue stars, the insiders know that my goal here isn't to convince people that I'm an expert or change your mind. It's to create an educated chat, to go about our business with an educated opinion and make the decision based on your control, not anybody else's. Goat says, I think this is a perfect fit for a draw. I think Sims is better, but I think Golden Boy favors Duarte. Goat presents a very important topic here. Now, he's talking about Duarte versus Sims, meaning that even though the fight's in Sims' hometown of Chicago, it is a Golden Boy card. So even if, in Goat's perspective, Sims looks amazing, outboxes, outpoints, one of those fights where it's 8-4 towards the B side, rather than robbing the B side, they might just, do a draw. We saw this with Adamas versus Shiraz in that instance. I thought that was a better example as of late. I thought Adamas was up by at least 3 rounds. And it was good that they didn't rob him and he was able to keep his belt. So it's something to think about. Landslide says, rolling with Duarte by stoppage. He looking ready to go in the weigh-ins. Good luck. So Landslide says that he's rolling with Duarte by stoppage. He's looking ready to go in the weigh-ins. How did you guys think Duarte looked in the weigh-ins? I thought Duarte looked a bit... I thought Duarte looked a bit, dare I say... Look, if you ask old boxers, they're going to say this modern narrative of this fighter looks drawn out at weigh-ins. An all-time coach will say every fighter should look drawn out at weigh-ins because that tells you that from the time the weigh-ins happen until fight night, they're going to be able to rehydrate. And some guys think that if you look drawn out, that's a good thing. Other people, experts, think that if you look drawn out at a weigh-in, you had a bad weight cut, and that's going to be signs of negative things to come. Now, I don't really pick either side. I do watch the weigh-ins for the psychology, the body language, posture, all that sort of thing. You guys, Duarte is the naturally smaller guy. Duarte is the guy who started at 35. I think it's his 3rd fight at 40. I don't think weight should be an issue. I think Sims is just the more skilled boxer. Horace Hurricane Houston, what's up, buddy? What's up, Johnny? I agree about Sims style-wise. He's dropping back down to 40. What worries me? Okay, Horace Hurricane Houston, appreciate you having here. VIP. He's dropping back down to 40. That is what worries him. Ain't you worried about that? So we could then, if we're worried about Sims going back to 40, you could say the same thing about Duarte moving up from 35. You know what I'm saying? Because he's only been at 40 for a few fights. Duarte didn't look great earlier in the week, but yesterday he looked fantastic. Duarte's a pro's pro, mate. Just because I'm picking Sims, this is going to sound controversial, what I'm about to say here, but I'm actually probably a bigger fan of Duarte. I'm a fan of Sims Jr.'s dog. I love how Sims Jr. has a dog in him. I love the technical approach he has. But I need, activity. There's just something about Duarte. If I were to remove myself from my channel and me just on the couch watching boxing as a sport, I would put my hand up first if Duarte was fighting on the same night as Sims Jr. and on separate cards, I would watch Duarte over Sims because he's exciting. He poses, he brings to the table that little bit of electricity. He's trending up. I want to see him. After that, any fighter who gets knocked out and then picks themselves up and continues to push forward, I'm a fan of. So that being said, I'm still taking Sims to win. I'm also a fan of technique, and I just think that the technical matchup favors Sims Jr. Boxing fan, what's up, my man? Boxing fan, what's up, everyone? We appreciate you here. My man helps me in more ways than you guys know. So there's you guys even just liking this video helps me out. Boxing fan, you know, we're gonna do big things. The boxing guy, what's up, buddy? Kenny Sims only fought 47 years of his opponent last. Yes, Sims is. I've heard the narrative about him coming down to 40. I mean, when you look at where he's been, he's at 40. Goat says, hot take, Ryan's best win is Duarte. Oh, I think it is. Let's think about it. Who's Ryan's best win? Yeah, people were loving that at the time, though. People were loving Luke Campbell, weren't they? The thing about that statement, Goat, is the fact that when he beat Duarte, it wasn't his best win. It's kind of like right now, if Duarte is Ryan's best win, this is why Elvis Rodriguez is Sims' best win, because how those wins have aged. Yeah, Ryan's resume is average, to say the least. So, PJ says, does Ryan hit harder than Sims? I mean, just look at statistics. Ryan in the division has one of the best left hooks, high knockout to win ratio. So that in itself, he could crack. History Vault says, all you Sims bettors need to get your back up. History. So hand history vault is obviously going with Duarte. Tell me in one sentence, History Vault. And you know, you're an insider. You know, we value your opinion. I love that this isn't an echo chamber. So tell me why you're going with Duarte. And Goat asks, am I going to be live for the card? Man, you know I want to be live, but it's Sunday morning, afternoon on this card here. And, you know, I don't know if I'm going to be... I got my girlfriend, I got my boys in town. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get away, man. I want to go live. That's, you know, juggling work and play and personal life. That is like the dichotomy of us as men is balance. So I want to be doing the live stream, but I also need to take care of home, you know. But History Vault, I really want you to sell me on Duarte because I kind of know what you're gonna say without putting words in your mouth, because there's a strong narrative that I could give for Duarte to win as well. They both have a path to victory. Because Sims does eat left. Okay. Yeah, so so History Vault presents a valid perspective, because the same reason that I think Sims is going to win, history thinks that is going to be his undoing. Sims' willingness to engage, Sims' willingness to stay in the pocket is going to be his undoing, because he's going to be doing it with a big puncher in Duarte, and Duarte is going to eventually break the body down, get Sims to drop his hands, and then stop him. It could happen. If you're new to the channel, the one thing that you'll know moving forward is I'm not going to tell you anything is 100% in boxing. Nothing's 100% in life at all. So he presents a valid point. I don't trust Miscellaneous Duarte against. And Kian, valid point. Sims can't land an uppercut. Duarte walking through him. I mean, we've seen Sims against offensive front foot fighters recently who have tried to walk through him and couldn't. We've seen them try to back Sims up and they couldn't. And we've seen Sims back them up. So I think he will random. I totally am confident with the statement that Sims is going to impress. He's not going to surprise his fans, but he's going to impress people, I feel. I think the matchup is perfect for him to really get to showcase where he's at 31 years old. This is his moment. It doesn't get much bigger. Duarte had his, and he didn't capture it, but here he is again. So hats off to Duarte as well. Akhmedov, yeah. And look at Akhmedov. I think Akhmedov is what, 10-4? Akhmedov, he could be 13-1. let me double check his resume. Yeah, boys, Akhmadov is 10-4 with 9 knockouts. His losses are to Duarte by decision, Kenneth Sims Jr., Alberto Puello, and Mario Barrios. And to be honest with you, all those fights, I think Barrios is the one that probably won by a wider margin, if I remember these fights. And that was at one, yeah, that was 6 years ago. That's insane. So that resume is wild. That's a very impressive resume. You know damn well not a lot of people are putting their hand up to fight Akhmadov. So yeah, it's going to be, and both guys have fought Akhmadov. Duarte fought him, Sims fought him. So Sims won a majority decision in 2023. Duarte won a UD just the end of last year. Guys, we're almost 30 minutes in. We're floating between 50 and 70 people in the live stream. Could you please like this video? Could you subscribe to the channel? Let me know who you got. Jazz is a Johnny Says Boxing Insider. You see the blue star. Jazz is in our private invite-only Discord. It's a couple bucks a month. Click the link. It's pinned in the comment section here. I got Sims and Regis UD. Ooh, that's a nice bet, Jazz. Those are my, so Sims and Regis are my channel locks. Yeah, Koki, we gotta get that up, brother. We gotta get those likes up. And I hate the channel will get to a point as we keep growing. 2 years ago, I had, I think, 6,000 subs. Now we're at 26,000. So it's a testament to you boys. It's a testament to the consistency. But we're gonna get to the point where I'm not gonna have to ask. I feel bad asking for you guys for anything, just to let you know. It's not in my nature to ask. Sims, it's a hand history vault. Here's his take. Sims fights like an old man, like he only has one good knee. He's all around slow. Defense isn't there. Not going to be able to stop and negate Duarte's counters when he stands in front. So I think I'm not discrediting what history's saying about his fight style, but I'm actually being the optimist that I am by nature. When history says Sims fights like an old man, I think he's trying to compliment him. I think he's trying to. I'll get to you, Clifton, in a second. He's fighting like an old man. To me, is like an older style. You know, because Sims doesn't use the whole ring. He's kind of flat-footed. He stays there, and it's kind of a throwback style to just stay there, and especially in front of a big puncher. So it's not, I think Sims is going to have the speed advantage. I think he has the timing advantage. I think his usage of his front foot, his ability to fight at range and inside is better than Duarte. I think Duarte is a bit one-dimensional. I think Sims is going to be able to get his timing early and frustrate Duarte. We've seen Duarte frustrated before. I think Sims is going to be able to back him up. This is going to sound crazy. You're going to see a Duarte super aggressive early on, try to push him back on the front foot and get Sims to go backing up. But I think Sims is going to use his angles, his timing, and I think over time, he's going to get Duarte to back up. Now, to answer Clifton, you put Sims as a lock. When I say my Clifton Dennis, what I mean by that is, if you watch my Stats Don't Lie videos, my edited fight prediction videos where, you know, I upload them on our fight prediction playlist, I call those my YouTube locks because those are my picks. I'm not telling you to follow that, but those are my locks. Boxing fan, what's up, by testament to the boxing encyclopedia? Yeah, I've always been good at retaining information. It goes back to, I think, as a young boy, memorizing things for tests, I guess. And, you know, we got to keep our brains sharp, boys. We got to keep our brains sharp. We got to test ourselves, read books, speak, write. We will see if it's take a punch from Duarte. Random guy, I agree. Random guy says, as long as Duarte or Sims's chin holds up, Sims takes the fight for sure. Yeah, we haven't seen Sims dropped. We haven't seen him hurt. Better be versus Lopez. Is that going down? I didn't know that was going down. Is that official? Damn, Artur. The sad thing about, and this is just the sad truth about men. Koki, you're sparring. You have an amateur. I'm sure, Koki, you're probably what, in your 20s? And as we get older as men, especially in the pro level, one day you just see a fighter and they look old. I think we're gonna see that with Better Beef one. He's 41. History of all, I'm trying to give you or other Sims better. No, you're doing great, brother. Yeah, history, dude. I value your opinion, mate. This is why I love my chat. This is why I love my channel, because we could sit here and disagree. And from my perspective, who runs the channel, I'm telling you, hand history of all, I value your perspective. Oh, so you're 37. Oh, my man, getting working. I like you even more, Koki. You're one of the old heads like me. Still putting in work, baby. Keep that chin down. Make sure you hit your road work, too. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Nothing's more worrisome than being in a fight and having no cardio. So I've always been the type of guy to weaponize the cardio. So I'll prioritize cardio and then obviously drill my skills every single day as well. Clifton Dennis says, going to be honest, I think Oscar wins. It's a wise bet. I mean, Clifton, Oscar is the favorite. He has more momentum. Julius Armstrong, he had an injury. He had an injured knee. So Julius brings up a valid point. I know Sims is broke. Why would he pull out the Saudi card for a career payday? Julius is referring to the original matchup in Riyadh season at the end of November of last year where he had to pull out, but he pulled out due to a knee injury. If he didn't want this fight, he wouldn't have asked for it. If you go back to see the social media receipts, he was campaigning for the rematch, or he was campaigning for the fight to still take place, and ask and thou shalt receive, and now he gets a homecoming. Johnny, you put money. I did. History of all. I just didn't promote that fight here because, you know, I broke it down in text though on our Discord. So History Vault says, did I put money on Canizales? Canizales fought. He's a Venezuelan fighter. He fought a rematch in Venezuela this past weekend against a Thai fighter. And so I didn't do a breakdown. I didn't give you guys a prediction, but I did pick him. And in the Discord, I told you boys why. 3 fights ago, Canizales fought in Japan against Taraji. Dude, which, I mean, rewatch that fight. You could have given it to Canizales. And then he fought the Thai fighter in Thailand and beat him and lost a horrible robbery. And then this fight was in Venezuela. And that's why I was like, dude, Canizales is going to get some home cooking, if anything. And he's the better boxer. And he actually stopped him. Adu says, you sticking with, yeah. I'm sticking with Regis, baby. Let's do it. And Adu, my reasoning with Regis, if you want to see the whole breakdown, watch the Stats Don't Lie video that I uploaded. More importantly, it's not that I dislike Jojo. Dude, when Jojo was on his rise, mate, come on. He's a fun fighter. He has a big fan base for a reason. Watch his fight a month ago. It's not... He fought in Tijuana, Mexico, just a month ago. It was not good. So Koki asks a very important question. Can Sims hurt Duarte? Sims does not attack the body a lot. Well, I don't know if it's can Sims hurt Duarte. We'll see. It's a good question. I don't have those answers. He's going to have to. More importantly, rather than hurt, dude, tough Mexican fighters, you know, they have the best poker faces. So the idea of hurting, what I'm looking for is rather than, if we're going to gauge being hurt by getting dropped, I don't know. But if we're going to gauge being hurt by stopping the frontward pressure and forcing Duarte to take a step back, I think so. I think he could do that. History Vault says, Johnny, you need to make a dedicated boxing schedule within the disc. Yeah, I'm still figuring everything out with the Discord channel. We're only 2 weeks in, because I know a lot of you guys, you know, some of you guys are come from Gary's 3D, and his is very just contrived, like scripted. Ours is, the Discord and my Discord is a bit like my live streams. It's the Wild West. So here, History Vault, to answer your question, mate, in life, I'm a very organized person. I'm very scripted. I'm very thorough. I'm always on time. Everything is organized, right? My house, I'm very like neat sort of guy. From a teaching and coaching perspective, though, I kind of follow the principle, the whole analogy, you could lead a horse to the pond, but you can't force it to drink. I like the idea of creating the space. Here's where I'm different from other guys, I think, on in this space, is I'm a community guy, right? My whole intention is building a community. It's not me standing on a throne saying I know more than you. So I don't, it's my interest was never to do what I do to be looked up to as an expert. My intention with everything I do is to educate and create community. So when you get to the Discord, I like the idea that you boys control the narrative. You know what I mean? I'll pop in. And if you guys at me or tag me, I'll respond. But I'm just like one of you guys. You know what I'm saying? I don't ever want it to be like a hierarchy sort of thing. So that's why I like the Discord like how it is. But and I've tried to organize it. We have an MMA stream, we have a boxing stream, and we have a parlay stream. So I do have it organized in that sense. Who takes the knockout, Julius? Yeah, but just modify someone. Am I allowed to? Okay. See, I didn't history. I didn't even know we were able to do that. All right, I'll send you a message then. I'll DM you history on the Discord. It's a good point. So somebody brought up Sims's losses. His last loss was in 2018. That was 7 years ago. You know what I mean? If we're gonna play that math, we need to do that then. If we're gonna say that Sim's 2 losses were to 2 guys who were low level, we then have to say who were Duarte's losses to. We then also have to say when were those losses. Sims's losses were 7 years ago. Duarte's was what? 3 years ago, and Duarte got stopped. Sims has never been dropped, never been stopped, lost 2 close decisions. So there is debate on that narrative as well, if you're going to lean on that as a reason to bet on. Expose, I like how humble you are. Oh, appreciate you, Expose the Fake. It probably comes down to me being raised by a very strict Czechoslovakian father in a house of women. So like, it was me and my dad, and then my mother, and then 3 sisters. So my dad raised me very strict to respect women, respect my mom. And I think over time, as I was growing up, respect elders. I something off topic on that note is I have a really close relationship with like the older people in my life. Like I like chatting with older guys, senior citizens. I think our culture, without getting too sort of introspective on that, is it's odd that we live in a culture where we kind of throw away the senior citizens. These are like people who came before us. I think we could learn from them. So I just sat down with a 74-year-old Hall of Fame boxer in Australia 2 weeks ago at a coffee shop. And I left that coffee interview and I was like, man, I would hang out with that guy. He's 74. I would just pick his brain. And I'm talking about Tony Mundine, a legendary, iconic Australian boxer. This guy fought Carlos Monzon. He fought Emil Griffith. He fought Benny Briscoe. This was in the 70s. And something you guys might not know, in Australia in the 70s about Aboriginals, Indigenous Australians, on the census report, so CENSUS, on the census report, this is insane that this was a real thing in the 70s. Indigenous Australians on the census report weren't noticed as humans. Dude, and you had this Aboriginal Indigenous boxer named Tony Mundine. At that time in Australia, I'm talking the height, the peak of injustice, was traveling the world to Paris, France on planes to Buenos Aires, Argentina, fighting in world titles. This is a 74-year-old man. And I was like, I would hang out with this guy and just pick his brain. So yeah, I think that comes down to part of being humble. So I appreciate you picking up on that. Expose the Fake. Dwayne Styles, protect. How bad syndromes turn out. Julius, have you ever tweaking a knee could be I don't know. He probably wanted Julius Armstrong, he probably understands that he needs to be in a certain level of health to go after Duarte. Random guy, 100%. So Clifton Dennis, this is how the government and the census in terms of like rights, this is how it's insane. It's horrific, and this wasn't that long ago. I was born in 82. I think the laws changed in the mid 70s. And you had an indigenous Aboriginal boxer, a kid, as a teenager. He was 19 and filled out a stadium in Melbourne against a Maori boxer from New Zealand named Mahunga. YouTube Mahunga versus Mundine. Insane. To this day, I think they fought in front of 30,000 people in Melbourne. Tony had only been boxing for 2 years. As a 17-year-old, Tony Mundine comes from this far out, like outback community, follows his brother down to Sydney as a 17-year-old to try to play rugby. His brother was a rugby player. Is at a boxing gym. A guy who ended up taking him under his wing is hitting the bag. And the boxing guy, his name was Ernie McWilliam. Ernie says, do you want to learn a box? Teaches him. 2 years later, he's in an arena in Melbourne fighting the fight of they call it the fight of the decade. Mahunga versus Mundine. When you watch Mahunga versus Mundine, remember that Mundine was only boxing for 2 years. 4 years later, he's now 23. That same kid from this indigenous Aboriginal community. 4 years later, he's flying to Paris, France to fight one of the era's greatest in Emil Griffith. He then fights one of the biggest punchers in middleweight history, one of the greatest fighters ever to not become a world champion, Benny Briscoe. And then a year after that, he flies to Buenos Aires, Argentina, and in my opinion, fights the best middleweight of all time. And in my top 5 guys ever, Carlos Monzon. So this is Tony Mundine. This is the elder I was talking about. But so many people walk by this guy on a daily basis. No idea who he is. Have no the knowledge he passed down to me in 2 hours was insane. So if you take anything away from this chat, you know, maybe you say hi to an older person today. You know what I mean? Even just give my contact. It's very valuable. But I think humility comes from the idea to understand that we as people, we're not invincible at all. Julius, to turn down Saudi money, Sims much to Tony ACL. I know, and you know what, Julius, the boxers stay really mum on the injury, so I can't really comment on what it was. They just said a knee injury, and it could have been, who knows? It could have been a shoulder, it could have been an ankle, it could have been an eye. They said knee injury. I don't know. Kingdom Life, I do have a Discord, and that link is pinned in this. So Kingdom Life, to join the Discord, click the link pinned in this chat. It says Johnny Says Boxing Insider. It's a couple bucks a month. You not only get exclusive options here, but you also get access to the Discord. Clifton Dennis says, what do you think about rewatching some of the best close fights surrounded with controversy together? That sounds amazing. That's something to schedule in. That's something that we could, if you boys are into that thing in the Discord. In Kingdom Life, you see how Clifton has the blue star? He's in the Discord. Click the link here. It's a couple bucks a month. You become a VIP on YouTube. You get access to the Discord. I rewatched Loma versus Haney. I got Haney set. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. There's a lot of close ones out there. One of De La Hoya versus Trinidad. I'd love to. I watched that live. I was 17. De La Hoya versus Trinidad. If you boys, a lot of you boys are young. Dalton versus Matias might get crossed off for Cruz versus Matias. Just a strong rumor. Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see about that. I haven't heard anything about that. Guys, like this video. We're about 45 minutes in. I'm going to keep it going for a while. It's 7:30 a.m. Sunday morning. I got a question. Do any of you guys have action on... There's a fight I keep getting messaged about. Samuel Molina. So Julius says, Jake Paul MVP cards this month. Yeah, a girl fighter I used to manage is on the Jake Paul undercard. She's an Aussie named Lynn Sandstrom. When did the fight start? I got action on Melina. That has the Melina fight was supposed to start at 4 a.m. Does anyone know if that the outcome of Melina? Melina was fighting Misaudi 4 a.m. And then the only action I have today is the Regis fight and the Duarte fight. And those aren't happening for a while, like 7 hours, 8 hours. I have money on an ass against Melina. Has that gone final though, History Vault? Do you know the outcome of that fight? Okay. Yeah, I have like 4 messages on my Instagram from boys asking about it. Yenis Tellez versus Baru is a serious fight. I agree. I agree. That's that MVP card, if I'm not mistaken. The prelim start should in a couple hours. Is Yenis Tellez underrated or overrated? He only has 10 fights. He's already ranked on BoxRec's algorithm as 17. Is he underrated or overrated? Because I hear some people really high on Yenis Tellez, and then people, I think as they do in our boxing world, will come and just say he's overrated, he's a hype job. What's the chat feel here about Yenis Tellez? Do you think he could become a world champion? Is he the goods? They built a card around him. And another question. Is Tellez main eventing or is Jermaine Ortiz on that card? Because Jermaine Ortiz is fighting Claggett. Clifton Dennis says, have you ever seen a fighter return to form after taking a beating the way Spence took? Rick Glazer was making the point it doesn't happen, therefore he thinks Haney is done. And Spence, it's a good point, Clifton Dennis. It's a good point. It's tough. Basically, are fighters ever the same? I think the deeper question is, we must admit that with each fight, whether you win or lose, you leave a little bit of you in the ring, a little bit, unless it's a one round knockout, like you see what we're seeing a lot with the younger fighters on the come up. But once you get to that world class level, every fight you lose a little bit, even if it's a little bit, you lose it. When you get beat up for 9 rounds like EJ did, or the 10 or 12 round sort of engagement that Devin partook in with Garcia, you lose a little bit. It's normal. This is boxing. You lose a little bit. EJ, I mean, 2 years off. I've been keeping you guys up to date on my Instagram over the last 2 years about Errol Spence. And especially as of late, he's been more active than at least he has lately, posting pictures with his shirt off. He actually posted a picture last week with boxing gloves near his feet. He looks really in shape. He looks small right now, to be honest with you. You know how he would blow up? He'd get up to like 185, 190, cut down to 47. I put up a photo last week. EJ looked like he was at fighting weight. He hasn't shared anything, nothing publicly about training, but the rumor mill is starting. I mean, I saw the boys, Paulie and the boys Algieri were talking about, there were rumors that EJ was offered to fight Virgil at 54. So to answer your question, will they ever be the same? I don't think so, but I don't think any of us are ever the same. I don't think any of us, even from yesterday, we're only as young as we will ever be right now, dude. That's on 100%. That's facts. Where you been? Haven't been gold member. Damn, John, where you been? I'm gold member. I missed one day. You see, I appreciate you though, brother. Gold. I missed one day, gold member. Damn, Johnny, where you been? Haven't been live in days. Yeah, I had to take a day out. My boys are visiting from the UK. Adelaide versus Hergovich. Easy not to go the distance. Okay, so some of the boys, my question about Yenis Tellez is the real deal. I think, some of you boys think he is. I think he's good. And then Boxing Fan answered my question about Yeah, Ortiz being the main event. But guys, that card, this is the 3rd week of August. So not next week, but the week after. Yanis Tellis is fighting. Yanko Rivera's fighting. Jermaine Ortiz. Lucas Body, is he overlooked? Oh, yeah. What's up, buddy? Well, I'm glad to see you back, brother. I'm glad to see you back. I did miss a live yesterday. I thought that's what you're referring to. The hand history vault, the fight is on right now. Okay, which fight history? Jermaine is smoking Claggett. Yeah, I'm gonna obviously feature that fight. I knew about Claggett before the Teofimo Lopez fight, but I got to be honest with you, dude. Claggett impressed me. Even what is he, 36, 35? Claggett's output impressed me. His style, he's kind of like, dare I say, a poor man's Zapata, but like Claggett's style, dude, pressure, cardio for days. You could anybody who brings that style into the ring, right off the bat gets my respect due to the preparation. You can't have that style without being prepared. And I thought, to answer Julius's statement about Claggett thumping Teo, I thought that fight was a lot closer than the scorecards. Granted, Lopez was probably a hard fight for Teo to get up for. You know what I'm saying? Understandably. But Claggett was there the whole time. And then both guys have fought Teofimo Lopez, by the way. Ortiz fought him as well. I'm a fan of Ortiz, his style, technical. The last 2 fights, I could kind of see a shift, similar to a shift in Raymond Ford, that they are making strides to be more offensive minded. And whenever a fighter does that or makes these stylistic adjustments in their career, I always pay attention to, because what is that? That tells you that these guys are locked in. They are willing to put the work in to get to the next level. So they always have my respect. And, Raymond Ford's one of these guys. The last few fights of his adjusted his style to be more offensive minded. Ortiz the same. We'll see those steps and how they continue to grow. Yeah, boxing fan, nice. Yeah, there's a lot to cheer about too. There's a lot to cheer about Jermaine Ortiz, man. Um, he ticks all the boxes for me. I do. I just can't see Goodman keeping ball away for 12 rounds. Will be a close fight, but so that fight's coming up soon. I can't wait to break down that fight. Sam Goodman and Nick Ball. And guys, if you go back to the last, I broke down Goodman versus TJ Doheny. I broke down Goodman versus Cesar Vaca. I even think I did the Goodman versus Aleem fight, Reese Aleem. Clifton, yeah, man. Empathy's huge in all of life, right? Isn't it? Especially when we're dealing with combat sports. We have to be empathetic. Some people are kind of over empathetic to a fault in terms of when they, if we're getting political. But I just try to be authentic, keep it 100, keep it reverent, keep it respectful, and do my best to spread that message on my channel. So, what I was saying about Goodman, I broke down the fights that the Cesar Vaca fight, the Reese Aleem fight. I was at that fight, the TJ Doheny fight. I'm not. It's not that I'm not a Goodman fan. Is my point. But the matchup versus Nick Ball, I got to be honest with you. I think it's a great matchup for Goodman. What's up, boss man? Sims versus Dwarte. I got Sims on the money line, 245. What am I missing, History Vault? What fight is on? Diaz is okay. I don't know. I just don't think this fight for Nunes moves the needle for me. Did Sugar Nunes get a fight? Malaga and Delucia, Spain is so. There's fights in Spain? Damn, I didn't even know there were fights in Spain right now. I didn't get any action on that. That's all right. What is that on YouTube? Goku, son. I saw Goku's back, boys. Be ready. Goku's about to drop some hot takes. Trust me, Jojo is way too much for that Frozzer. Guys, like this video. Let me know where you're coming in from, tapping in. Okay. Christopher Diaz is Nunez's next opponent. Raymond Ford ducked him. Yeah, Sugar Nunez is one of my favorite guys to watch. I gotta be honest with you. I like his style. I like his style, man. Sugar Nunez won me a lot of money with Rikishi. And then, watching how Anthony Kakachi ducked Nunez to fight Lee Wood, it kind of really made me dive deep into what Sugar Nunez was bringing to the table. Good on Sugar Nunez, man. Fun guy to watch. Yeah, gold member. So gold member and Goku-san are here, boys. Just to let the chat know, we got two high-level gold member and Goku-san about to light things up. Robert Floss hedge. A hedge bet's always good money. Diaz has been there with Isaac Dogbe. Isaac Dogbe, Navarrete. So David Eister, you just don't like the matchup? You wish it was somebody else for Nunez? Yeah, Goku, you were in Gary's chat yesterday, man. People were getting salty at your takes. I was texting people. I thought it was entertaining. Yeah, don't get emotional, anybody. After this fight, Duarte taking a pop for PEDs. He always looks like he is Julius, doesn't he? Every time I see Duarte, I'm like, I was like, the next thing we're gonna know, Duarte is gonna leave Robert Garcia and he's gonna go to Canelo's guy. That's the next move. I'm joking, obviously. Yeah, no, you were carrying the chat. It was entertaining. Gold member is a time traveler. Eddie Reynoso. So yeah, we're gonna see Duarte. If the eye test doesn't pass, Duarte will leave RGBA, go to Eddie, and then pop. Yeah, Goku should get in the Discord. If you want to post, if you want to post the parlays, is Nathan Ibarra asks a very important question: is Sims winning? He's gonna put 200. Nathan, I got Sims at 265, mate. That in itself, even though I'm not an odds better, meaning that none of my picks are ever related to just the odds, I genuinely think that Kenneth Sims Jr. is going to win. You give me him at $2 plus money, mate, I'm in all day. I think he's a better boxer. Do your own work, though, Nathan. I'm just giving you my opinion. Guys, if you want access to the Discord, the link is pinned here in the thread. Nathan Navarro by decision. I took him on the money line because, let's say it gets stopped early. You know what I'm saying? So if it gets stopped early and you're already getting him on the money line at 250, you're going to be salty that you just didn't take the money line. So these odds are a perfect example. If you're going to favor the dog and you have reason to do it, don't get greedy with the method of victory. You know what I'm saying? Because getting it always, I think risk versus reward, I think the reward is already high value on the minimal risk bet of the outcome on the money line. Not that Sims is a lock, but when if you already like Sims and you compartmentalize how he wins, just take him on the money line. Andrew Ortiz says, what's the pick? Say them one more time. So Ortiz, my picks on the channel, the 2-leg parlay money line for my picks are Regis and Sims on the money line. If you want access to our Discord, though, where we have locks of the week, you become a private member with all the professional bettors in there. Click the link in this thread. Clifton says, I don't know, you might be telling us the future if they throw in the towel. Could you imagine? Clifton Dennis, could you imagine? What if the chat itself, it's its own sort of thing, and I'm gonna get to. I'm gonna stop that idea there. But Clifton Dennis, you present that'd be insane. It's not gonna happen though. You never know. On any of your betting apps, do you guys get like Tau prop bets? Are there any? Because there's some crazy betting apps these days, to where you could bet on like, will a streamer spill water on a guy at a club in the next 2 months, and you could. So I wonder if anybody has will the Tau be thrown in specifically. Well, the guy that turned plastic into gas isn't missing. His mother gave an interview. If you go to the Daily Mail, he's been staying with her to lay low. I know Christopher Diaz took a bad beat in the Navarrete fight. Okay, so Eister. You know what I think that is, though, then? Sugar Nunez, late 20s, early 30s, becomes a world champion for the first time. In we won a lot of money on him going to Japan to fight Rikishi. We won that bet. I think sometimes you want to get your guy who's the champion a couple wins. Goku-san, Tyro fight. Yep, Tyro's a beast. Tyro, he fights in the UFC. Every time he fights, I'll watch him. Other guys, striker, Tyro got 160. Yeah, Tyro's good everywhere. So Goku's getting, talking MMA, UFC, the UFC card. Tyro's a young, fun fighter when you watch everything he does really well. He could do it all. Best random prop bet I hit was Ryan to have a point deduct. Great prop bet. What did that pay? I love this chat, Max 2000, his prop bet. My best prop as of late was Inoue to get knocked down against Ramon Cardenas. It's 16-1, and I hit that. King picks the guy that turned water into wine. No. Oh, yeah. The guy that turned water into wine is missing, though. Explain that. King picks. I salute you, brother. What King Fix is also that's a very witty guy there. Navarrete got lucky against the Filipino earlier this year. Navarrete is always in those sort of fights. Julius is talking about Charlie Suarez fight. Navarrete's always in these sort of fights. These controversial decisions, outcomes. Look at what happened against Liam Wilson in the second round. He throws it right in. We'll be able to tell you what's coming back. Yeah, he does keep his head on the midline, Goku. He does keep his head right here, though, when he does all that. So I wonder if there's a knockdown prop in play. Regis decision, Sims decision +4. Those odds are great, but once again, Regis, decent odds on the money line. Jojo Diaz did not look good, Nathan, in his last fight. Jojo fought a month ago in Mexico in an 8-rounder. He made... Just watch that fight before. I'm taking Regis on the money line because if I'm right, I could... Dude, and Jojo, you know, he's tough. We'll see. I think it was like 13-1. Both fighters, that's insane. You took both fighters, and what did that pay, DJ? You put that in the Discord, didn't you? I think I saw that parlay. I do. I'm sticking with my Regis decision, but we'll definitely be sweating on that. Yeah, I'm all in too. I'm all in. I'm more convinced Regis beats Jojo than I am Sims beats Dwarte. So if I had to pick which one am I sweating a bit more, it's going to be Sims versus Duarte. I'm not sweating Regis to beat Jojo. I think that's going to happen. Julius says, what happened in the heavyweight? Richard Torres, well, Kiki Torres has fought a couple times this year already. I mean, we just saw Kiki versus the Italian in a good matchup. He fought really well. He landed a big shot in the second. I thought that Kiki fought a smart fight. He was fighting a really tough Italian guy, and maybe matchmaking. We know the domestic level in America at the heavyweight division is pretty thin, and that's being kind. Maybe it's a matchmaking issue. I'm not sure. I like what I've seen with Kiki Torres so far. You get him another, hopefully we get to see him at least one more time this year. Sometimes you don't train for those fights. Mexicans are tough, man, when you punch serious. Mexicans are tough. Yeah, I saw it, DJ. That was an insane. I think I might have shared it on my Instagram. Yeah, DJ Green picked a prop. Both guys in Japan, Higa versus Vargas, to get dropped. And then Higa gets dropped in the last round, I think. And then the draw is insane. Isn't it wild that we have to measure which fighter's more shot? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if in Hoodrich, if you guys got, depending on your bankroll, the one fight with plus money, if you don't want to get fancy and don't put any other fights on it, just watch Sims versus Duarte. Sims on the money line. I have one straight outright bet, and that's that. That's the heaviest bet I have this week. Is I've gone really heavy on Sims on the money line. I bet he cannot get another on my parlays and Sandoval over punch it. Damn. Good call on the Sandoval. If you're getting dropped by Haney, that's weird. Yeah, guys, it is 8 a.m. I'm about to cut this stream short. We'll see what happens. I want to go live for the fights. I'll see if I'll be able to do it. J4 eats. Do kangaroos really? This is where the chat gets wild. Do kangaroos really get square up? Well, kangaroos by nature, J4, their instincts are very sketchy. So they see humans, they run away. You see instances though, if they get cornered, specifically the videos you're speaking of multiple times, a kangaroo will try to fight a dog and kill the dog, and they try to drown the dog near bodies of water. And then sometimes, you know, the owner will interject, and then yeah, the kangaroo will box you. Clifton, at least he didn't tell you to bet. Maybe Sims is, you know, really religious. I don't know him personally. Maybe it's more of a ethical thing. A lot of people, the idea of gambling just turns him off, and it's his fight. He's probably switched on in a manner where he didn't want to give any energy consciously outwards about something that didn't really focus on his game plan. Goku, I put my UFC parlay on my YouTube. So I did give away 2 free parlays, 2 public parlays on my YouTube channel. The UFC parlay is up there. I do. Kudo. Cheers to that comment. Are there there's kangaroos near Sydney, but like I said, they have populated Sydney proper so much. It's the largest populated city in Australia, and so you have to kind of go on the outskirts of the city to see them. Rayo de la Santa Liga, good and greens from Spain. It turns out that I have to pay almost 20 for a European Championship fight. That's insane. We're trying to wait for that result as well, brother. 220 for a Euro Championship fight. Yeah, so Rayo, we're waiting for the Molina versus Anas result as well. DJ Green, I seen a video like that. Grown man punched a kangaroo in his shit, and kangaroo just... Yeah, and if, guys, there's YouTube videos, I think from the 60s and 70s, where they would do circus events, and they would hold boxing matches between a man and a kangaroo. So you could, what's my favorite Backstreet Boys song? Da, da, da. I was more of a, Jagged Edge fan, or a Drew Hill, Let's Get It. So I was a fan of Jodeci, Jagged Edge, Drew Hill, Boyz II Men, H-Town, rather than Backstreet Boys. Shy, if you know who that was. Baby, I'm yours. Australia had got Crocs. No, Komodo dragons are indigenous to the island of Komodo, right? Yeah, they're only on one little small part of the world. Dude, Komodo dragons are fascinating. They stalk and hunt their prey by striking fucking deadly venom into their ankle, or the lower expenditure. If it's a human, it's an ankle. If it's a big animal like a water buffalo, it's their foot. And then they exit, and then for hours, they will sit back and watch that poison enter their prey, and then they'll come and eat them. And dude, Komodos eat bone and everything. They are nasty, nasty work. Have fun hitting the track, Dwayne. Get your money. Are there any dogs that can handle a kangaroo? I don't know, man. Maybe if you think about like a Presa Canarian, but like that would be to the death. Tasmanian devils are a real thing, but they're small little sort of, I think they're the smallest I think they're the smallest marsupial. I don't know if they're in the marsupial family. Yeah, they're a real thing. They're really small though, so they're endangered. I've seen them at the zoo here in city. They're not as big as you think. You know, Looney Tunes made the Tasmanian devil massive. Tasmanian devils are probably like that big. Is it Indonesia? I don't. No, it's not Indonesia. It's an island. I think it's only one island that they live in. What am I? My bad. No, it's the Komodo dragon. Check it out. I don't know. Yeah, Indonesia, the islands. Yeah, they're nasty though, man. I saw a video today with a bug from Australia that was, yeah, so J4, he's just talking about, they just discovered a new stick insect. So the regular stick insects are like this. They discovered one that's like that thick that disguises itself on trees. It's insane. Do that, History Vault. Johnny, a white guy with soul and style, gonna be hung with black guys. Yeah, I grew up in Youngstown, Ohio. So like in Youngstown, Ohio, which is an hour south of Cleveland, an hour north of Akron, and an hour west of Pittsburgh. You know, played basketball from the time I was a kid, 6 years old until I was 18. So a lot of times playing basketball, I was the only white kid playing basketball. All my boys on my basketball team were black. I went to a boys' Catholic school in Youngstown where I was one of 2 white kids in my class. So it was called St. Anthony's in Briar Hill. So from kindergarten to 8th grade, I went to the same school with the same 12 guys. We had one girl. So it wasn't a boys' school on purpose. There was just one girl. And me and Nick Bellino were one of 2 white kids. So and then in high school, my mom, they were young when they had us. My mom goes to college when I'm, I think, 10 and gets a job as a nurse. So by the time I'm going to high school, she buys this nice house in a white neighborhood. And then I go to this white high school, super culture shock. And in this white high school, we had a really good basketball team. And I was the only white kid on my freshman basketball team at a white high school. So yeah, it was one of those things. Yeah, diehard Mark Price fan, number 25, one of the most underrated point guards of all time. Georgia Tech point guard, Hall of Fame in Georgia Tech. Price was amazing. Accurate shooter, ball handles for days. He was on those Cavs teams with Brad Daugherty, Larry Nance, Hot Rod Williams, Craig Elo. Steve Kerr was coming off the bench. Yeah, so I'm a diehard Cavs fan to this day. To this day. Price was my guy, man. But yeah, that era, NBA, a fun era. R&B music's, I mean, dude, we need more. That was the last time we had grown men begging. We're out here begging for the ladies. You know, did you guys ever listen to Jodeci? You know, Jodeci's, one of my all-time favorite albums ever is Diary of a Mad Band. And that was before Casey and Jojo Haley broke off and did their own thing. And Jodeci was Mr. Dalvin. Devontae Swing was producing them. They were from, I think, North Carolina. And one of their songs, Baby, I'm begging, baby, I'm begging, begging. Dude, men were literally begging for women. We out here begging for the pussy. You like the Cavs swapping out Ty? Ah, see, I didn't know that. It's hard for me to say switched on season in between seasons. I didn't know they got rid of Tyler Jerome. Wow, that's kind of a. I don't like that move. Will knockdown be in the Sims fight? I'm not sure. Have you ever almost hit a kangaroo? No, I never almost hit one, but people do up in the outback. Clifton, of course. I guess it's noticeable. We are who we are, aren't we? We are who we are. That's why being authentic is really important. It's one of the things I've always prided myself on is authenticity. Thankfully, they don't have presidents in Australia. You know what I'm saying? Guys, I gotta lock this up. I appreciate everybody. There's still 46 of you, 75 minutes into this. So I say thank you. The channel is at an all-time high, all-time views this month. July was amazing for us. Make sure you like the video. PJ's always in the house. All you guys, if you want to support me a little bit more, I appreciate it. If you can, it's a couple bucks a month. You get access to our Discord. Click that link that's pinned in these comments. Johnny says Boxing Insider, couple bucks a month. You join that here on YouTube, then you get access to the Discord. You'll see everybody's picks, everyone's parlays, and I appreciate you boys. I'll see you.